This is the Tier 8 American Premium Medium, the T26E4. It is a vehicle that's been around in World of Tanks Blitz for a very long time. And it was mainly for the fact because of how troll the armor was, including very thick spots that occur throughout the majority of the turret, and even the upper and lower plates along with that. So if we go ahead and take a look at the armor profile of this thing, it has a 107mm stick of frontal turret armor and a 187mm stick of frontal hull armor. And this is what the current armor profile looks like after it did receive PBR graphics within the past couple updates. It may not look like it on flat ground, but you can see that there are a majority of spots right here that can be troll in that regards. When using the gun depression that this vehicle does carry, which is 10 degrees, is where the armor can become extremely troll at that. Even some cases on flat ground where if you're in a tier 7 at that matter, you're not going to cut through the front and the upper and lower plates on this vehicle. It's just that insane. It still really is and has always been one of the most trollest tier 8 mediums in the game. But that's really where all is going to change, considering the fact that calibrated shells has received substantial amounts of changes within the previous couple updates, which gives the majority of premium and standard ammunition a mere advantage in order to cut through a ton of spaced armor. For example, like if I'm loading premium shells against 271mm of premium penetration, now this tank is going to be vulnerable to the majority of shells that it takes from premium ammunition. The only really weak spot that this vehicle had, apart from the standard ammunition not able to cut through like the majority of the turrets and the upper and lower plates, was this tiny little cupola that occurs right here on the roof right here. There's a hatch right behind it too, that which you can easily overmatch, but this was a little bit of a concerning weak spot for the majority of users that use this vehicle. It's not like it could change it one way or another considering the hatch is right behind it, but this kind of acted like a more exposed cupola in terms of the one that's directly right behind it. You're still able to pen them. It's just that one is more vulnerable than the other as it's on the front, and while the hatch is a little bit in the back at that. So that's really strange, but in terms of that, Wargaming does count it as a pen, so whoop-de-doo. Alright, making our way towards the side of the vehicle. The side of the turret is only 82 to 83, and then the side is upwards of 80 in most cases. And then for the rear, the back of the turret is 20 to 80, and then the full-on back or engine deck is upwards of 55. HEs, when running 45mm, there's not really that much exposure in terms of the vulnerability of HE shells. Even when running calibrated shells on a 49mm HE output, still going to be too thick in order to try to outmatch it. Along with that, this vehicle carries 2,071 DPM with a 6.52 second reload time. And for the penetration, it's actually fairly solid. 221 on the standard, 271 on the premium, and 49 on the high explosive. Combined with the average damage being of 225 on the standard, 190 on the premium, and 270 on the high explosive. And the aiming time is not necessarily that fine, but it's also about average. It's 3.4 seconds with 0.292 dispersion. And then finally for the maneuverability, the tank goes at a top speed of 40 with a reverse of 18, and the power to weight, which is extremely ugly, is only 11.2. I used to struggle so many times when I've encountered a T26E4. It was actually a little bit of a mere populated vehicle, considering that every time I was running in Tier 8, I used to grind through the IS-7 as my first line. Or actually, it was the Jagdpanzer E100 before I stopped and wanted to move on towards the IS-7 in that regards. When I was using the IS-3 before it got PBR, and it was probably a couple years ago, once this vehicle became extremely troll in that regards, I had the worst possible time ever encountering this vehicle, and I instantly regretted it. And I was just like, screw that, I do not want to ever face this vehicle once again. So anyways, let's go ahead and get into our first battle right here and see how we can fare well. Looks like it's going to be a Tier 9 battle at that, so let's see what they got in terms of their mediums. Looks like they have a Panzer RH, and a AMX-31ER prototype. Alright, so let's go ahead and mosey onward over towards the left. For the fact that this vehicle has a lot of spaced armor is why the maneuverability would not really seem to exceed the limits to that of the average medium at tier 8 in that. So, we got the 31ER prototype already spotted. Let's see if he's probably going to poke on out. Also got the RHM over to in the far back. So, it looks like the 30 is probably going to... Alright. Well, here comes the RHM at that. Or the Kampfpanzer RH. Hopefully my T54... Alright, so it looks like that they are going to mosey on through over here. There is the Kampfpanzer. Unfortunately, not able to get that shell out. That's where 3.4 seconds of aiming time is highly unbeneficial. So, let's see. The AMX is probably going to make a slight overpoke here in just a couple seconds. So, we're just going to stay hold down here. Beauty thing is that this vehicle does have 10 degrees of gun depression. So, that's really where this thing can be used hold down quite effectively. Well, there is the Bisante. Not able to get the shell into there. And there you go. Right through the upper plate on my tank. Yep. Goes to show that since calibrated shells got a buff, everything can cut through this vehicle, which is unfortunate. So we got the Kampfpanzer. Let's see. There we go. Nice tap into the side of his turret right there. Let's go ahead and reload once again. Let's see how we can fare well against trying to peck off some more shells into some of these guys over here. The AMX 31ER moved up top. Let's go ahead and mosey on towards him. Okay, that's probably not going to be the case. There is the Waffenträger as well. Can we overspot him? Maybe we can. Not necessarily. Okay, well, that's totally fine. We left 3.4 seconds of aiming time as well when trying to hit, or trying to overmatch vehicles in that regards. But there's another nice tap into the Bisante. Unfortunately, my T54 gets finished off. So let's go ahead and see if we can get another tap into this our Kampfpanzer, or unless if the Bisante wants to move forward. Alright, so it looks like these enemies are going to stay put right off in the back. So let's go ahead and mosey on through towards the Bisante and get a nice tap for 212 into his vehicle. Alright, let's go ahead and reload once again. RHM is going to try to push up directly right behind us. That's unfortunate, but this Bisante is taking a pretty solid beating at that. Alright, Kampfpanzer gets a shell into me, but the good news is that we have very solid DPM. Oh, okay, well, he gets finished off. That's okay. Well, we got the Kampfpanzer right in front of us. There's a nice tap into him. We're going to reload once again. Let's go ahead and get another tap into him. I do not want this RHM to come on directly behind me and kerblunker me in that regards. Well, he does get finished off, but I am able to finish him off, too. All right, let's back on up just a little bit. It's not like we're going to win this battle anyways. Yep, there we go. There's a nice 269 chunker into him. The Death Star is going to help me right on my behalf. So let's go ahead and get another tap into his turret for 281. All right, reloading once again. We probably would be able to finish this guy off. Oh, nope, the Death Star does. That's really good. All right, so it looks like the enemies have all the bases at the moment. So it's not like we're going to win this battle one way or another. Because this vehicle has terrible power to weight ratio, it is terrible on forward going up on ridge lines. So that's kind of something to take into consideration about this vehicle. But okay, we're going to start off with a loss here, but not a very tragic loss at that, because it was actually kind of close. But the problem is that this is Supremacy, and base cap ends up going upwards a very large amount, considering how many bases that you capture in that. But we were able to break past 2,000 damage in this one and do second on the team along with that. Let's go ahead and get into another game then and see if we can try to do a better performance in this vehicle. But you can try to see, now that the fact that calibrated shells gets a mere advantage to outspot and out-trade this vehicle in most cases, the armor just doesn't work no more. Like, sure, it can be upwards of 187, and it can be troll at times for like some bits of tier 7s and tier 8s in that regards, but it just doesn't work no more, guys. Like, every time I've tried to use this vehicle, the armor just does not work. That's just how lame it is now compared to the majority of other vehicles that have received substantial amounts of changes apart from this tank right here. So let's go ahead and get into game number 2 then. Let's see what they got in terms of their mediums. They have a Carnivron, they have a Stritzvong 81, T26E4, and that's pretty much all they got. Alright, so let's go ahead and see how we can fare well in this one. So I do want to kind of make a little bit of a pit stop right here and see what kind of wants to mosey on through over across the ridgeline over here. Unless if that's not going to be the case, as we got 2 vehicles already spotted heading on towards the same direction as I'm going, and then we do have a bit of support coming along with that too. Let's see. Oh, we got the E75TS off to the side. Not able to spot him at the moment. Okay. Well, we got the T26E4 spotted off in the back, and wow, I thought that shell hit directly into his side. It probably hit the hill. Well, he is going to come on back, so let's just stay put right here and wait for him to push on back, unless if my T25-2 decides to not push himself right in front of me to where I can't spot this guy. And I bet that was worth it, T25, because you bounced the shot, and now you're getting kerblunkered for it. Well, you penned that one. I'm not surprised. Carnivron's moseying on up now. There we go. Nice tap for 211 into his vehicle. All right, so let's go ahead and... Oh, we got the C75TS right there. And yep, another great example to where the armor just does not work on this vehicle. All right, so we got the Emil 1 also pushing on through. All right, one of their guys is taken out. That's really good. All right, we got the Su-152 off to the side. We also got the Carnivron moseying on through. There's a nice tap for 200 into his vehicle. Let's go ahead and back on up just in case. So the enemies will have a little bit of a tougher time trying to outmaneuver us. There's a nice tap into the T26E4 right there. Even surprised that we got a bounce in that regards, but the Carnivron just butters right through me. So we got the Su-152. Let's see if we can get another tap into this enemy Carnivron right there. Yep, very troll armor at that too, and my team is coming in at the last second, which is unfortunate. All right, let's go ahead and plant ourselves maybe right here. Maybe we can outspot the Carnivron once again, or the T26E4. Nope, not able to pen them at all, which is kind of rat. So we're just going to stay put right here for the time being. Let some of our heavies take some of the hits for us. So... Alright, we are able to spot a little bit of the Carnivron, not able to pen his cheek at the moment, as that did say that it was a pen spot. So, let's go ahead and, there we go, now he's exposing his lower plate. There we go, 241 shot into him. We're going to back on up just a little more as that Emil 1 is trying to peck us off to the side. So, Object, you better move on forward, bro, because I do not want you to get pecked. Alright, there. Now he is getting pecked off in the process. Here comes the Carnivron now as he's making a very aggressive maneuver. There's a nice tap into him, and let's go ahead and... Yep, another great example. The armor just does not work on this thing. So there's a nice tap into him. He gets another tap into me once again. Good thing he gets finished off. I did end up low rolling that shot, which is unfortunate. So let's see if we can get a quick tap into this Emil 1 real quick. There we go. Nice tap into the Emil. It's not like we're going to survive this one either. So... Well, surprisingly enough, he's not spotting me. So, 3, 2, 1, and let's go ahead and low roll the shot once again. Well, that's totally fine, but that's 2 solid defeats in a row. Whoa, RNG is the best today. We love it. Well, another great example. The armor just does not work. It's just so ridiculous having to see this. Or just witness it for myself in that regard. So hopefully game number 3 will give us the best outcome for what this vehicle has going for it. From a tank that used to be so deadly and a very hard to pen vehicle at that, now turns into something that's literally... anything can butter right through it, which is kind of ridiculous in that regard. So here we are in game number 3. Let's go ahead and see how we can fare well in this one. In terms of their mediums, they have a, let's see, they have a Stritzfong 81 and a WZ122. Okay, it looks like 2 tier 8 mediums at that. So let's go ahead and see how we can fare well in this one. Maybe we can try to use our gun depression on this one. So let's go ahead and mosey on through over here towards base B. Let's see what ends up poking on through, maybe going into C, or maybe trying to use hold down capabilities upon this little ridgeline right here. Alright, we got the Stritzfong already spotted, and I'm already spotted in that regards too. So that means that some of their vehicles are probably planted off in the back somewhere. So, let's see. They could most likely be going to C as well, but we'll just have to wait and see. Oh, yep, we already got the VK spotted off in the back. He is going to mosey on forward. There we go, a nice tap into him for 225. So, let's go ahead and reload once again. I am spotted once again. I don't know by what, though. Alright, so it looks like that he is out in the open once again. Oh, he is going to back on up. There's another nice tap into him for 208. All right, we're going to put on our adrenaline here at the moment. Let's see if he is going to. Yep, he's exposing himself even more out in the open. Another tap for 209 into his vehicle. All right, he's still exposed, so let's go ahead and get another tap for 230. And that's the beauty part of this vehicle, though, is that it does have DPM factors, which kind of, which kind of is beneficial upon this vehicle's behalf for not having as much armor as it used to now. So, well, one of our vehicles made a dire mistake, which was the KV-5 at that. All right, the Scorpion G looks like that he was off in the back. So, let's go ahead and see if he is going to poke once again. Maybe that could be the case. Oh, well, I better mosey on forward then. Or I should maybe, just maybe, help out my Turtle Mark 1, as he's the only one over here towards the side, and I do not want him to get kerblunkered by a WZ-122. So let's go ahead and mosey on over towards this vehicle, as I think that's the most highly beneficial thing to support my teammate for. So, alright, so he's behind a ridgeline at the moment. Let's see. Maybe we can try to get a pecking shot. Unless if the Sioux is probably, or the Scorpion is probably going to spot us off in the back. Let's just go ahead and mosey on forward for the time being. Oh, there he is. Okay. So he is going to stay behind the rock. Alright, there we go. Nice tap into him. Alright, let's go ahead and angle our tank. Yep, another great example for the armor not working. We love this tank so much. Whoa. Alright, so, as we still are behind this, ridgeline right here. Let's try and get another tap into him. Yep, another great example to the armor not working on this thing once again. Alright, let's go ahead and get another tap into this guy right there. Nice tap for 167 into his vehicle. Alright, so moseying on upwards once again. There we go, and we do get a bounce. So, as we did hide our lower plate, so that's really good. Alright, let's go ahead and get another tap into the WZ right there. Nice tap. Kerblunker into him again. Yep, there he goes once again, buttering right through my armor like it's literally nothing. Alright, so let's see if he is going to make an aggressive overpoke right here. If that does happen to be the case, then... Yep, which he did. Alright, so there we go. Nice clear into him, as I am spotted once again in the time being. Let's see if we can just stay put right here and let the base cap do its thing for the time being. So... as it's going to continue going on upwards. 955 now. Well, even if I do die, it wouldn't really make much of a difference as my turtle is full health. So let's just continue staying put right here for the time being. Alright, the Scorpion did end up moving, which is good. So that means I can mosey on down over here. Unless, if I can, get a nice tap into the Scorpion for 220 right there. And, oh no, looks like that the enemies are getting the bases in that regards too. So if the turtle does end up getting a shell into the Scorpion, oh, that's not going to be the case. Well, unfortunately, it looks like that we are not going to be able to win this. So, let's go ahead and get a nice tap into the Scorpion right there. So reloading once again. Unfortunately, this is not going to be the outcome as what we expected. Well, it looks like that this was 3 losses in a row, but that is totally fine, as it was not necessarily our fault in all 3 of these games in that regards. So, yeah, it just kind of goes to show that the T26E4 just doesn't work no more the way that it used to. All these tanks have received changes within the previous couple updates, and it comes down to a point to where this vehicle acts like it's no longer what it used to be like in its original state, which is highly unfortunate. Well, the good news is that we did seem to surpass about 2,000 damage in almost all of our battles here, but, like I said, this vehicle wasn't as what it used to be. So, if you decide to get this vehicle, do it at your own risk. That's pretty much all I should say in terms of this individual vehicle by itself. I don't really care if I lost all 3 of these games. It's not like I'm cherry picking in that one way or another either. As you can see, 3 defeats in a row in the T26E4. And yeah, that's pretty much all there is that comes to it with this vehicle. But hopefully you guys did end up enjoying today's video. And if you did, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. And make sure to turn on those bell notifications while at it so you don't miss out on any new videos. And I hope to see you guys in the next one. Peace out, y'all.